it is abundantly clear that there is a Western school of thought forming, the school of California, which believes that art is not meant for entertainment. They believe that art has the power to control people's behavior. And as such, an artist's main goal should not be to entertain, but to make sure that the messages and the themes he pushes into his art is going to get the people to behave in the correct and moral way. This is why they don't really care about the quality of the art. They don't try to make it beautiful. In fact, making the art look uglier is what's good and appealing, because this way, more artists that aren't very talented can also contribute to this new cultural thing, this new cultural phenomenon where art is more of a way to influence people rather than entertain them. And this is why you see the way most females look in Western video game characters look more like transgenders rather than actual women. This is why you see them behave like they have toxic masculinity. And it seems that this type of style, this type of art, is mostly connoisseured by a very small number of people, but most of them happen to be gatekeepers. We're talking about journalists, we're talking about bloggers and influential people within the industry. And these people would like it if all the art you consume would come from this school of thought. They don't like it when there is a foreign influence, when a different culture burges in. And this different culture seems to be Japan lately, as more and more of the Western audience, especially the younger generation, they're turning towards anime because they don't want to be educated. They get that from the schools and the universities. They just want to be entertained. And Japan is more than willing to provide this type of entertainment. So conflict naturally is going to occur whenever a lot of people seem to like an anime, whether that is Shield Hero or Attack on Titan or Goblin Slayer or Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. Naturally, it's going to be heavily attacked on the Twitter. And it gets to insane proportion where, for example, Uzaki-chan was used as a poster to encourage people to donate blood. Now, I don't care how you encourage people to donate blood, unless it's incredibly and increasingly immoral. But I don't think an anime girl with big titties is something that falls in the line of immorality. I mean, if people are willing to donate blood when they see it, what's wrong with that? You know, I dare any person that says there's something wrong with that. I dare any of these people that think there's something wrong. You go to a person that requires blood and you tell them, look, we had a package for you and we could have donated, but you know, they used an anime character. I mean, come on, man. You know, come on. You bleed out because it's for the greater good. You do that. You know, would you have the balls to do that? Because there's a blood crisis, by the way, going on. You know, like blood is a rare commodity in hospitals, but you know, these people don't care about that. They just don't like it that this was used on a poster and it was gaining influence and it was raising awareness of this anime, and that's what's wrong. You know, it was taking away from the Western depictions of morality that they're putting out. And they attack it on Twitter. You know, like, again, if you're not familiar with this anime, it's a very wholesome anime. It's really nice. It's something that Japan seems to have that Westerners don't, which is a sex comedy. Sex comedies are like, usually the humor comes from awkward situation. You know, like the guy trips and he falls with his hands on the girl's titties, and you know, it's really awkward and embarrassing, and it's like a difficult social interaction. It's funny, it's in good humor, it's all good. Most of these animes are dedicated for teenagers, which was why the characters are young, but in this case, Uzaki is actually in second year of university, so, you know, I don't see any problem with it. Again, it's not pornographic or anything, it's just like, it's a comedy, it's supposed to make you laugh. I mean, the themes that they're discussing is like a guy and a girl go out for a date. You know, there's nothing deeper than that. There's no like underlying meaning. It's like, oh, let's look at the oppression and the bigotry and, you know, challenge systemic racism of systemicusm. No, it's just like, you know, just something you hang out, watch for 30 minutes. You know, there's no higher cognitive thought. It's just to laugh. But whatever, you know, the left doesn't like that. The Westerners don't like that. So recently it escalated to the point where one of the artists from The Last of Us did a very interesting picture where Abby from The Last of Us 2 punches the head off of Uzaki-chan. Now I can't show you on YouTube because it would be against their terms of service, but it's very gory. Okay, it's not okay, and a lot of the Japanese people are now being disgusted by this. Like they're being offended for once. But no one cares, unless you're a left-leaning person from California, unless you're that, no one cares if you're offended. But what I find interesting is their reaction to it. Like, look at some of these comments, right? Overseas are radical. Now, I use Google Translate, so the grammar isn't very good, but like obviously they're meaning like people from overseas are radical. Why do you hate like that? I mean, I guess, for normal people it's bewildering because why do you hate a cartoon character? It's irrational. And I like it. You need to be a left-leaning person with the mindset of California in order to understand. Like, you actually need to believe that art can mind control people to the extent that they're thinking of. And only then you can understand why they really hate it, because you're basically going against their politics. Like, it's like for them it's like a religion, and art is the, book of Luke or something like that. It's like, for them, Star Wars, it's more than a work of art. It's something that's supposed to guide people to the right way. I'm not kidding. Like, there's actually TED Talks where they say this and they state this. So when you attack Star Wars, you're not just attacking a work of art. You're critiquing their entire ideology. You're critiquing their entire worldview. It's like taking the Gospel of Luke and taking a dump on it in front of a evangelical Christian. That's why they get so offended. But like, look here, like some of these replies are very interesting, because you don't get them on Twitter usually, because most people on Twitter are used to the way people on the left are behaving. But for the Japanese, this is something bewildering. Like they don't understand why human beings act this way. And they're saying like, because I don't like it, can I solve it with violence? I'm a good girl who cooks and nurses me when I have a cold and is down. Are there many Americans who are radical and dangerous? That's a really good question. Like, you have managed to get people from other countries to look at your culture and think you are dangerous. Okay? Like, you have managed to get minorities, by the way you're behaving and the way you're interacting, to think that they would be in danger if they were to be surrounded by people like you. Look at this. And again, like, ignore the grammar because, well, it's Google Translate, but it's a shit work. And it's becoming famous, and the author will be happy. Like, even the Japanese are looking at the way people from The Last of Us are drawing, and they have absolutely no respect for you. Like, why are they agreeing with what you would call right-wingers on Twitter? Are Japanese right-wingers now? Maybe they are, because they like capitalism and meritocracy. But they're looking at... And by the way, like, you need to look at this in context. It's not just one picture. That's the problem. No, like, if you're on Twitter, they have just... try their best to deface Uzaki-chan, to make her fat, to make her look like she has autism, like all these grotesque images that seems to come from artists that are lacking. It's almost like me wanting to be a singer and starting to sing with my voice. I wouldn't make it. Like, I need to understand reality. But, like, that's how you're shocking people from other cultures now. That like you had to do something so they take notice, and they just notices the mob of people that are really upset about the cartoon that's actually a comedy and is heartwarming. Like, I would understand if it was a cartoon that would attack, the very essence of America and, take a dump on politicians from the United States or something. Like, okay, fine, like that would explain why the outrage. But like, again, there's absolutely nothing to be outraged about. Uzaki wants to hang out. There is literally nothing. And by the way, like their opinion, because again, like when they hate something, they want to attract the normies on board, right? Like the normies aren't people that believe in what the left does, so they have to find like a reason on getting the normies on board. And they say, oh, well, like Uzaki looks underage, and therefore it is sexual molestation and pedophilia. And it's like, look, did it occur to you that people who watch it don't feel attracted by Uzaki? Like, if you're feeling, and you feel this way, maybe that's your problem. That maybe that's your issue. And secondly, like, what about the teenagers that are watching this? Like, what if a 16-year-old watches Uzaki wants to hang out? Is he also supposed to be a problem? And again, like, these people have on Netflix an entire show with kids talking about the same stuff, like sexual things, and it's from California. I've never seen them attack that. I never seen them attack things like shows that talk about the drag queen, the drag queen culture with children next to it on Netflix. I don't see them attacking that either. But all of a sudden, an anime, that's the problem. No, it's so obvious that they're faking offense, and it's so obvious that they're annoyed that you, as the viewer, has the right to choose to watch something that doesn't come from California culture. Like, that is the real reason that they're upset. In their perfect world, you wouldn't have a choice. The borders would be closed, just like it was in the Soviet Union, and nothing from outside the country gets to go in unless it complies with certain regulations and standards, which is what they're actually trying to do with anime right now. They want to make America be similar to China in a way. I know it sounds ridiculous, but listen to what I'm saying. They want their left-leaning progressive companies on the board of animes. And if the anime is problematic, if the anime doesn't follow certain rules, which right now are quite small in number, but they will grow over size, then it doesn't get to appear in the West. Now, you can say you'll pirate the anime. Yes, you can pirate the anime, but the animator will not make money. So if the animator wants to make money by selling it outside of Japan, they will have to censor it in a way that is appropriate to the Western audience. The very same way, if you want to release a movie in China, you have to censor it according to the Chinese requirements. And then you're going to see animes lacking in certain themes, lacking in certain depictions, and you will know why. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.